It's Wednesday. The Wednesday. Supposed to be cooking, I guess. I know that the world gon' feel blessings rain down on me. I keep the gang around me. And we know what we're doing. And my LV Murakami, my shirt working. Hearts baked, had bars in 2008, DJs from 2006. Every verse worth a brick. On God, the Lord is the root. On God, I'm telling the truth. Look around, you'll see all the proof. Look up, I don't see a hoop. Look back, I got on God. Cause I thought I seen Chino in the booth. Every time God get me through. That's right. How you doing, Mr. Jones? On God, I know my directions. That's right. I really respect me. On God, I'm thumbing through blessings. On God, I see you. Get up. Get up. I'm nice with the dressing. On God, my brother's solid since day one. They ain't gotta be questioned. On God, I feel like it's destined. My time and money invested. On God, the only person. Greetings right back at you. I'm glad you're doing well. And I work 24/7. I know. On God, I pray for my enemies. That's right, Mr. Newell. On God, the devil alive. Wouldn't it be something if none of the women log in because they all cooking? My blessings from the Messiah. My faith is taking me high. Like, what's up, ladies? What's wrong with y'all? Cook tomorrow. What's going on? Cook later. Oh God, I keep that shit on. That's baby. Oh God, I don't care about none of these bitches. This is amazing. I'm telling you, this song is going to be a hit. I think I discovered this song before everybody else discovered this guy. Oh God, I'm living in love. Oh my. Oh man. Oh man. Look. Right here. On God, I'm really respecting. On God, I'm thumbing through blessings. On God, I really be stepping. On God, I'm nice with the dressing. On God, my brother been solid since day one. They ain't gotta be questioned. On God, I feel like it's destined. My time and money invested. On God, the only person I'm competition with is my reflection. On God, I'm feeling well rested. And I work 24/7. On God, I pray for my enemies because I know jealousy come from obsession. On God, the devil a lie. Why hate? You should be inspired. I came out the muck in the mire. The world don't stop cause you tired. My blessings from the Messiah. My faith been taking me higher. On God, whatever your will is, could you please make that my desire? On God, the devil be trying. On God, the bishop be lying. On God, I moved out of town on Miami. Too many of my people was dying. On God, I keep that shit on. That's baked in Louis Vuitton. On God, I don't care about none of these bitches. I do all this shit for my mom. I rock that RPF. Through obstacles. I'm flying right over the hurt. I keep it real tight in the circle. I've been saying the trend since I was 16. Did the fashion show easy? I make it look way too easy. On God, I'm living a legend. On God, I know my direction. On God, I'm really respecting. On God, I'm thumbing through blessings. On God, I really bet. On God, I'm nice with the dressing. On God, my brother's been solid since day one. And they ain't gotta be questioned. On God, I came with shots. On God, I came with rust. On God, they told me to drop. Watch out with the cop, watch out with the cooperators and claim cop. Patience about time. I give you the one through the rhyme. Y'all talking to me, my cop. Go ahead. Go ahead. Get up. I'm a America's Got Talent right here on Afro Economics. We're gonna find out how you doing, Miss Matt. I'm gonna put y'all up. So you say something again, Mr. Jones will be able to see it too, because I don't think you can see them until I put it up here with me. Indeed, Miss Dixon, how you doing? We're gonna talk a little bit. Like, I saw a whole bunch of people register for tonight because of the topic. And I was like, oh, Lord, why did I pick such a hard topic for Wednesday night? You like the door? You like the door? What door? That's right. I like the door, too. He said, I like the door. What door? What door is he talking about? Exactly. And yes, indeed. How you doing, Mr. Jenkins? I know, Mr. Newell,
Mr. Jenkins turned on his camera Friday morning. Mr. Newell, you don't have the heart. What's up with that? Oh, he was talking about my dude. This is like the before I comb out the fro. Thank you. Yeah, like the little twisties in there. It'll be back out in a second. But I just left. So it's all calm now. I'm not gonna let it stay like that long. I'm gonna be like, get my fro out. Get that fro back. And then there was what is up with the cosmetologists and their desire to cut your hair? What is up with that? You know, they have this thing, you wouldn't know about that, Mr. Jones, but they have this desire to cut your hair. Mr. Newell is a barber. He owns his own barbershop. So you know about that. Oh, Mr. Newell talking about he has heart. Too much heart. But we're going to see if you can turn on your camera Friday. You know what? I can't do that Friday morning. I told this lady I was going to be at an appointment at Friday at 9:30. How am I going to do that? Y'all going to have to come with me. What are we going to do? Dang. Goodness gracious. Have to cut the bad ends. Y'all just like make that up. Like make it up. That's what she said. Look at this. And they all look the same to me. She said, look at this. Look. I was like, whatever. Who's looking at? Who is looking at Mr. Jones' bad end? What is wrong? They looking too close. Tell them to back off. Y'all better back off looking at our ends. And then all it does with mine just curl right back up. You're looking too close. That's what we need to find a company that can repair split ends for real. With all of these products out here that are lying to people, need to be thrown away. I mean, we can go in the beauty supply store. Do you know how many millions of dollars they make on these products telling us that I know. You know what? You're right. And you know what? On this Friday, it probably would be a good Friday that I could probably just say we're not going to do it. We're not going to do our members this Friday. I will switch it to Saturday. Yeah, maybe we'll do a Saturday. We'll do the Saturday as something different. Y'all going to be like, what in the world? But I'm going to do a Saturday because we haven't done a Saturday this whole year. So why not bother y'all on a Saturday? So that we'll do members only this week on Saturday. And so to give you like some time to let your food digest. Then you're having to get up early on Friday. I think I'll send that out. And I'll say Saturday, I'll send it out tonight. Saturday morning at 10, not early. No, let's say Saturday afternoon. Y'all gonna be gone. We're gonna say Saturday afternoon. Saturday at noon, when Mr. Jones gets up. He might actually be there. That'll be his first members only. I'm like, now that's a decent time to have a meeting. A Saturday at noon.
Best time ever.
Like you're a smart woman. Look,
Wow.
Mr. Newell, I wonder if they make barbers go through all of that cosmetology stuff. If you go to barber school, do they make them study healthy hair and stuff like that? because he keeps going on about these split ends. Like, I don't know if he knows it or not, but men do not get split ends. Somebody needs to tell him. Google that. It says it. Men don't get split ends. Men have different hair. He's getting so irritated. Look, what are you talking about, JB? He said, if you keep your hair out, he said, yes. They go through the same training, okay. If you keep your hair healthy by cutting your split ends, again, I'm very busy on Saturdays. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, you have to listen in and still turn on the camera so we have evidence that you're very busy. We want to see these people. We want to see their ends. Men do get split ends. Goodness gracious. That's a sad thing. Isn't that sad, Mr. Jones? So from a growth stock perspective, if I came out with a company that did have the potential of ending split ends and you didn't have to cut your hair anymore, then it could go across all genders. It would say JB's split end solution for men and women. And we could buy that stock for my publicly traded company. That's what we want when we invest in a growth company. That's what makes a growth company, like a growth stock. Now, seriously, take this home. Growth stocks are companies that offer products or services that truly change the way people live. They change the lives of people. That's what makes it a growth stock. So, like, it has to, like, that really be revolutionary for it to be like. And then you have different, like, levels of growth, because in mine would be aggressive growth, because you'd be getting in it at, like, really the ground level, like nobody else knew about it. This be some venture capital that we're coming up with. But what we're talking about is companies that are already publicly traded, that are available on the stock exchanges, that are offering a service or a product that's changing the life of people. And I'm like, I have to be careful on actually saying the names of book companies because of my securities license. So that if I say a name of a company, let's just use this as a disclosure. I'm not telling you to buy it. I'm not saying that I like it. I'm just saying the name of a company. So don't say, like, if it doesn't work, oh, JB told me to go look at B&B Split End Company, and I lost all my money. But I didn't tell you to get B&B Split End Company. We were just talking about it. That's it. I don't know of a company, B&B Split End Company, but it actually could exist, and you're going to blame it on me if it doesn't work. But don't. Because the key is the people who, when you have these discussions and they get to talk about, these are my top 10 stock picks, they can do it because they can't actually put you in the stock. I actually can put you in the stock. So because I can open up the brokerage account, I have to be more careful. Isn't that me? So the ones who can't actually put you in it can say whatever they want to say. Motley Fool and the guy on TV and, the people aren't licensed that don't have the license to do it. But you can subscribe to their stuff. You can follow them, and you can buy their books and their T-shirts and all of those things. Isn't that something? But they don't have to know anything about what they're talking about. But I have to be careful with every word that I say. Every word. So, and every bit of advice that I give you. And I got an email today, like just talking about, different changes and about suitability changes and enhanced suitability, meaning making sure that everything that I put Ms. Williams or Mr. Jones in or Mr. Jenkins in as an investment, that is not just suitable to him, but it has to be in his best interest also. And they're becoming regulators. When I say that, regulators are becoming more and more particular about that for licensed people. But when you're just one of our members the other night sent me a YouTube video, and the guy was talking about random about different different types of things going on in the market, and the guy like tried to present it as a news story. And I know because the person is not Black, and then they get behind a news desk and then they make it look like they're actually part of the news, like they're saying it like the Fed did blah blah blah, they did blah blah blah, and did the blah blah blah, and it's just about like that it makes especially our people think that it's actually news. And they get like deep into this news story, and then they start selling you their product. It might be about some gold fund or some silver or some currency, something, something. But all of a sudden it shifts. And I think it's because they have the algorithm for YouTube figured out. And the algorithm is only going to listen for a particular amount of minutes. And it has to sound like a news story for a particular amount of minutes before they can switch it to sound like they're selling you something for them to hear, the sales part. So, when it gets to what they're doing to and misleading the customer, it gets past the algorithm, so it doesn't get caught as fraud and, a scam, because it doesn't, the algorithm doesn't go that deep into it. And I know this is horrible, but they figured it out. So we have to be like really, careful what we're, listening to, and understand that when you're listening to something that's educational, when we're talking about growth stock investing, it should just be about growth stock investing in general, not about what a particular growth stock. You should not be trying to pick an investment over the internet. You should be actually spending time on your own or talking to the licensed advisor individually doing that. Because there is no way that particular investment could be appropriate for everybody listening right now. Whatever I'm talking about, no matter how good that investment is, it is not appropriate for everybody. It just can't happen. All of you can't be at the same phase of life, have the same need, have the same risk level, have the same, financial desires. But just because you're both listening to me talk about the same thing, you're going to take advantage of the same one. No. But if we're only talking about just from an educational perspective, when you're talking about growth, these are the things that you should be thinking about. Something that is focusing on a product or a service that is going to change the lives of people over the long term. Point 1. It's publicly traded. Point 2. So it has to be on an exchange. You know, that they have growing profits. They have growing sales. They are outperforming their competitors. Right? They're a top performer in their industry. They're the best at what they do. When you're considering it for when we're looking at it as a growth investment prospect. And then and when I'm doing my portfolio selections, I'm pulling these into, most of the time, these stocks will be inside the ETF that I'm putting inside the portfolio that I'm putting together. So the portfolio will be growth oriented, meaning long-term growth, but it's made up of, in that portfolio, it's going to have a lot of stocks, and each of the funds in the portfolio are going to have different goals for each of the funds in it. So some of them might be smaller companies than the other. So some of them might be actually not so growth oriented. So the growth companies are not going to have dividends that they're paying out. So it might have some stocks in there that may focus more on, they are going to be paying out some dividends. So it's going to be larger companies, and they might be considered value investments. So they're actually undervalued, like their price is considered low for what the company is considered worth, where the growth stock, the price is considered high for the earnings that they're making. So their price to earnings ratio may be a little high, but we're looking at it over the long term. We're saying, but this is nothing compared to where we see it going, because this has a lot of earnings potential. So we're picking for growth stocks, and for stocks in general, we're choosing them based on their long-term growth potential. Not where they are now, but where they're going in the future. So today, the Federal Reserve said they're anticipating that they're not going to increase interest rates as much. Did you hear about that? They said they might not, do such a big hit as they thought they would. So what happened was the market, had a positive, especially our growth area, because growth companies rely on debt. Like, growth companies are relying on getting loans, loans so that they can raise capital, borrow money so that they can hire more people, buy more equipment, get buildings, expand. So when interest rates are going higher, you'll see that your growth companies will get hit the hardest. So a lot, like, because of my portfolios, I tend to focus more on growth. I've saw that over the last couple of years, my clients actually did better than clients who actually who had advisors who focused more on bonds, because bonds got hit so hard with these interest rate hikes. So we're actually, even though stocks were hit, we fared better by having more stocks. So even though the stocks were hit. So now, if this does happen for us, where they do let up on these interest rate hikes, that it's going to be really positive for my portfolios. So, this is a good look. So we just just sit back and wait. I mean, it's the not to skip the point, but did y'all hear about what Herschel Walker said today? Did you hear about that? Wow. All right, I'll tell you. I'm not going to tell you. But wait till you see it. That was funny. I mean, that was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. It was funny. I'm always on his side. I think it's funny. He gets my vote. That's funny. Mm-hmm. That was funny. Rosita, did you see it? I don't know if it happened today, but it was funny. He made did you look it up? Oh, I didn't know if you looked it up. It was funny. I don't know, Chris. That's funny. What's up? Anyway, y'all gotta look it up because I'm not saying it. It'll mess my algorithm up. But it was funny. It was where you're talking and then you say a word but you mean another word, you know what I mean, but you said the word and and then you can't take the word back. It's just out there. And then now it's all out there. Woo! Look, Chris talking about him and everything. Chris is y'all just, I don't know if it happened today or not. Which one were you referring to, Mr. Jenkins, when you said it would be better? I don't know. No, I don't know what's going to be up with FTX. So let's look at some other. So with the reason that your growth companies don't pay out dividends is that dividends are basically, paid, or the companies kind of sending out to their investors thank you payments, where growth companies are taking those payments and instead of sending out thank you payments to investors, dividends, they're putting it back into the company. It's the investors are don't be sending us money, put that back in. Let's do this. Let's open up some more locations. Let's expand. Let's so let's do that. This. So it's like that. It's so growth. The investors don't want dividends from growth companies. So it's not expected. And then as they get older, it might, they might but that's going to be way, down the road. That'll be way down the road. But a key, we're talking about a key attribute of when you are also we're choosing them because we don't want that as a taxable event. If we're doing growth investments in the portfolio, we don't even want, we want it because we know that if we're only making gains and paper gains, the price is going up. That's not a taxable event until we sell it. So you can literally keep the stock for 100 years, not pay any taxes, if you don't sell it. But if you're getting dividends those hundreds of years, that's a taxable event if it's not in a retirement account. So dividends have to be paid, the taxes have to be paid on dividends even if it's reinvested. Some people think if they can reinvest the dividends, then they don't have to pay taxes on that, but that's not true. So, growth investing is long-term investing. That's what you need to realize. I'm talking about if I want a growth investor, I want them to commit to 10, 20 years, 30 years, that they want to give this money, that kind of time for it to grow. And then let's think of, so we want to, how we're going to identify them. We're going to look at companies that you're familiar with. That's, a key. Like in the portfolio, I'm going to show you what the top 10 components at least are in the portfolio of, what's in there. And it feels good when it's some names that you can identify with. So if you're buying the individual stocks, I think it's a good start to see if where you're spending your money is publicly traded, so that, we could investigate, see how they're managing it, and we can start from there, and I can check, I can start checking them out. It might be something I'm following already. Right? But that's important. The like some other ways, like looking at like who's making money, who's in, we can look at the industry. We can kind of think like, what's the future? What industries are really kicking? I know, like before COVID, I used to always get a call from the local paper in Virginia about what industries you think are kicking. Now the papers are so like just articles that they get from Associated Press. It's not enough local stuff, but they would just go around and ask, like local people, local financial advisors, like what industries do you think are hot, stuff like that, and they are going forward or for this next year and stuff like that. And but in that industry, what companies in that industry? One time I did an article on biotech for Black Enterprise. They were like, they used to ask me like, what industry do you think is gonna be hot, going forward? It was like, biotech, and there was like, but when really that, and that was pre-COVID, but that whole like area around COVID time, like just took off, like in ways that, people really never imagined. Like but the government kind of, really got involved on that whole thing. And there was a whole lot of insider trading with Pfizer and Moderna and a lot of that. Like, I really feel that Congress really needs to do some investigating on that, talking about insider trading. I saw they were talking about, insider trading with crypto, and they want to try to regulate, like, that's not even a regulated area. The government shouldn't even try to get involved in that. Like, you don't regulate it. How you going to try to tell them insider what? Who owns it? Who is the insider? It's based on insider trading. How do they even know how many blocks and stuff there is? Like, they shouldn't even, there's like, how, that shouldn't even have come up. That was a waste of time, whoever tried to get involved in that. But what we should be thinking about is what they're not thinking about is in that pharmaceutical area, that those CEOs made massive amounts of money, and they knew exactly when they were going to come to, those vaccines were going to come out, and they were going in and selling their positions right there on the days that they announced the vaccines coming out. That is straight insider trading. My goodness. Like I don't know, and we're like years, at least a couple years after that, and they still haven't addressed that. And then and there's a whole bunch of government funding involved in that, and then, you know, but it's probably because a whole bunch of government people made money also. So all we have to do is follow the dollars, and we'll figure out why it's not being addressed. But that is, you know, industry, and what industry you think is going to be growing and the most is an interesting way of trying to look for the publicly traded companies in that particular industry for growth investments going forward. So that's a key area, a key way. And I'm just thinking about ways of how I go after what to think about, or what to have my eye on, or what, you know, companies. And a lot of times I'll look at what ETF is really moving, what ETF is standing out, and then I'll look at like what is really doing well in that ETF individually. And then I also would look at it the other way, like, because when, you know, ETF was like, Tesla was a major component of a lot of ETFs, and, you know, it had, some hard time this year, along with Facebook. So there's really good, ways that we just have to sit down, look at it, take our time, and check out the stuff that we have. And most of you, a lot of times when I first start working with a new member, my first thing is to help you get familiar with what you currently have. I don't do a lot of like tearing it apart, like messing up the house. You know, if you look at your portfolio as a house, like, I don't like mess up the house. I try to like see what you have in each room first. Like, what's in here, what's in here, what's in here, and go in the drawer and see what you have. And then you discover a lot of what you have. And then we build on that and build on that, because, and some things need to be thrown out, and some things need to be, built on. But it's really important to just get to know what you have and what it's made up of. And because a lot of times we have things and nobody ever took the time to help you understand what you have. And I want to be that one to help you really understand what you have. Because often, we switch from one thing to the other before we check out what we have already. No, like that. Like, like sometimes, people will get rid of, tell Mr. Jones, I don't want you, Mr. Jones. They go and get somebody else. And then they go, oh my goodness, I should have made sure I checked out Mr. Jones first. Because this other one over here, he don't have no hair. Mr. Jones had a lot of hair. I want Mr. Jones back. I love hair. And it's gone. So first, we have to check what you have. Get to know what you have. Make sure you know what you have before you get rid of it. Let's get that. Like, do you have growth investments? Do you have growth in income? Do you have this? Do you have, like someone was telling me today that they were trying to get them to get, they were offering them a particular interest rate for a year, but they would only let them stay in it for 8 months. I said, well, what is the 8-month return? And he was like, you know what? That's a good point. Why, you know what I mean? I was like, why they give you the annual return, but they only let you stay in it 8 months? They're always trying to trick somebody. You never know. Like, we never know, but they might, they might say, well, like, you take so-and-so. No, you take so-and-so. I'm not doing the math. You do the math. What is the 8-month return? You would tell me you so-and-so. Don't mislead me. Because we're thinking, well, if that's that, like, and it's like that with a lot of things. And like with some of the things that people do with the government, it will say, this is your return. But the small print will say, you have to be in it for such and such a years in order to get that return for that 1 year. You have to be past that year, but like 3 or 5 years to get that 1 year return on that 1 year, and then the other year return on the next year, and another year the next year. But you didn't know, so you got out of it the second year because you thought you were going to get that return for that 1 year. I was only going to get with you that 1 year. No, so we got to know what we got. We got to know what we have. Because you might think you have growth, but you don't. And you have fixed, or you have income, or you have IRA, and you think you have non-IRA, or you have taxable and you don't, or you have after tax and you thought you had pre-tax. I see that all the time. So we get to know, and then we can do. And I need to know, like, because some people are not appropriate for growth investing. So I do what's called a risk analysis. New Black World Order. I do the risk analysis to make sure that you can handle the volatility of that. Because a growth investor has to understand that it's going to go up and down sometime. So I want to have a risk score that's, way over 30. And they might say, I want growth. I want growth. I want growth investor. And then I do give them a risk analysis and they say they 22. You don't want no growth. You can't take the pain. And as soon as the market goes down and they dip $1, they crying. I'm like, I'm not going to be worried with you. What happened to my money? I was like, what are you talking about? What happened to my money? It went down $100. Well, I don't understand why go down $100. Because that's what growth does. It's not really down $100. It's fluctuating $100. If you sell it today, this moment, this second, you will be down $100. You're going to have to accept that loss. Yeah, but it's going to be hell for them. That's why you need to know that risk analysis is real. You can't handle it. Yeah, like, you can't handle it. You're investing in companies. You're investing in companies. He said it's painful. It drops a few $100s. But the reality of it, you're supposed to be investing for the next 10 years. We're supposed to be investing in stuff that you're giving it 10 years. I put money in my company 30 years ago. I haven't touched it. 30 years ago. You know, some people could have never done that. Do you know how many times that money has, like, I can't even figure out the math, how much money I've made on that money that I put into this business. But if you can't put it in, you got to put it in there. You got to put it in there. You got to do it. That's what you're doing when you buy investments. You're buying partial ownership of a company. That's what I did when I started my corporation. I bought ownership of my corporation. When you buy shares of another corporation, you're buying shares of ownership of that corporation. Same thing. And if you go in and out, you buy your outlet, you got out. You keep it in, then you'll get that over time. Imagine that person, Bezos, think about it. His stepfather, I know he's glad he married his mama. That was the best move I ever made, marrying that woman with that little boy. Lord, I knew that boy was going to be something. That's an argument men should believe. And then his stepfather invested $250,000 in his business. Isn't that something? And they let him work out of the garage. His stepfather. And that is Amazon. That's faith. That's good. But he ain't come back the next day. Jeff, give me that money. Jeff, look. I need that $250,000 back, or I'm gonna beat you. I'm good. I need it now. We would never know who Amazon is. And think about how many people would not have a job. Yeah. But he stuck it out. That's amazing when you think about it. Like, that's growth investing. And that's what we got to do in ourselves. That's what we got to do in ourselves. Like, that's what I was telling people, like, why is it so easy to invest in something like cryptocurrency, but not to invest in yourself? Like, people are always looking for something else, like, to, you know, like that they feel like, oh, nobody knows about this. Oh, nobody knows about this. This is the biggest risk of all the life. It's not regulated. And it's highly likely I can lose all my money. And they want to do that. But you won't just do it for your own dream. And people are like, I always wanted to so-and-so, but I don't want to pay for that class. I always want to learn how to so-and-so. I ain't going to do that. I didn't need that one certification or that one license or that blah, blah, blah. It'll pay off for you forever. I'm not going to do it because I'm not going to spend that money. That's an investment in your own growth that will pay off forever. That's growth investing. Joining Afro Economics. That's a growth investment. You get in, you come in 100%, you get knowledge, you get networking, you get connections, you're thinking, you're taking time to do something that you would not have done. It's empowerment. That's growth. That's an investment. That's moving forward. I mean, how easy is that? Oh my goodness. The return on that. All we have to do is want it. Want it. Want more. Want more. But we make excuses for why we are not worthy of the next level dream of that whatever that was, of like having that with my life. Like what? Why not? Why not? Why not you? Like my friend Harrison told his son, Russell Wilson, and Russell says it all the time. But I remember Harrison looking at me and saying, JB, I don't know how I'm going to pay for them boys to go to collegiate. I don't know what I'm going to do. But he kept on pushing. And now he is in heaven, but his sons are fine. He was determined. That brother was determined. And look at Russell. I mean, like, but you gotta, like, he wanted it. Like, he wanted it. He just invested it. He would leave the office. He wanted his boys to just do it. They just wanted them to have everything possible. All the ingredients. That's growth investing. It's revolutionary. Something is just going to change the life forever. That's what we should do. Well, every dime that we get, every dime, like we go through a drive-through window and buy something spit, we should slap ourselves. If it's not doing anything good for us, it's not a growth investment. It's a waste. It's a waste. Is anything that's not for growth is the opposite of growth. It's death. You thought that's how you felt last week, didn't you, Mr. Jones? You were like, I'll never do anything wrong ever again in my life. When you're sick, you're just like, I'm sorry, Lord. God, make me feel better. And I promise you, Lord, I'll never be bad again. I will do everything JB says.
You find yourself apologizing for everything.
For stuff you didn't do.
Exactly.
I should have taken that lady's groceries up those. I should have taken the lady's groceries up the steps. I'm sorry, Lord. I didn't see her though. But if I'd seen her, I would have taken them step up step. Oh my goodness. God, give me the strength. I'll take your groceries up the steps for everybody. I will. Exactly. Isn't it true? You feel bad. You just think you never take your health for granted again. You're like, thank you. You were like, thank you. My trainer has been sick for 2 days. I thought about you. He just said he's out. I'm so glad he didn't get me sick. Oh, no. There's something going around. Goodness.
Yeah, I'm doing much better. Much better.
You sound great.
Thank you.
Yeah. Stick to the plan. Don't do anything crazy tomorrow.
No.
You know what I'm saying, Jack?
No.
Just eat a little bit. That's what I told Aziza, because I'm cooking and I was have collard greens and red cabbage and turkey, and I got some ribeye. And she's like, "What about?" I was like, "No, you already had enough stuffing in everybody else's house. No stuffing, no rolls, don't need it." She's just like, I was like, "Whatever." Some apples. I'm gonna make apple crisp, gluten-free oatmeal into the apple crisp. She'd be like, "Oh my goodness, I'm serious, girl." I ain't nobody trying to be sick up in here. I'm sick of it. Like, it's usually this time of year where you get sick. Like, I'm like, I don't want to touch any dairy. I don't want to touch anything that will like cause, me to feel bad. Oh, that, just any processed food. I'm so sensitive now because I've been doing so specific. Like, once you become very non-processed, you can't go off track. You really get sick. Like, if you do right, you gotta stay right, because you can't, like, your stomach can't take it like you used to. So I'm chilling. I'm just gonna cook them greens and meat. Greens and meat, y'all. Greens and meat. And then I was reading something in Amos chapter 2, I think, verse 5. But anyway, we're not really supposed to feast, like that anyway. So we just, we do a lot of stuff like that we're not supposed to do, but we're doing it because it's become tradition. Like, it's just tradition. But the closer my relationship is coming to God, the less I feel that I'm supposed to be doing it, if that makes sense. It's like, it doesn't feel right. Like, I know that God is like pulling me away from these traditional stuff, and more that, like, it's about him and health and community and family, like, but not this superficial stuff. And Christmas has become even more materialistic. Oh my goodness. And commercialized. It's so sad. So we have to be even more careful with that. But so I challenge us tomorrow to focus on being thankful for our health, for our families, for the ability to discuss growth, investments. And when I go outside and it's 20 degrees, the first thing I think about is, thank God that I have an inside that I just came out of. Because there are so many people with nowhere to live. you know. No, so we're just so blessed. But I thank you all for just, for the love and the support of just everyone in the Afro-economics, and the Afro-economics family has just made such a difference in my life to have a message that God gave me and to have someone that is receiving it, because either way, I would have to do this. But I just appreciate y'all listening, because I got to do it. I got to do it. I got to do it. I pray that we all live out our purpose. Your purpose, Mr. Jones, is to be here with me. Be right up. And yours, Chris, is to be right here. So, yeah, and make sure y'all look up what Herschel Walker did. I don't know if it was today or yesterday, but he did it. I don't know if the person made it up, but he said something out of line. It was funny. It rhymed with election. Y'all stay positive. Take care. And I will be seeing y'all soon. And then just know I am J.B. Bryan, President and Chief Investment Officer of J.B. Bryan Financial Group, the home of Afro-economics, a registered investment advisory firm. Chris said she had surgery, and we are praying for you, Chris. Speedy recovery. Thank you for checking in. Thank you. Never too much heart, Mr. Newell. Never too much heart. Right, Miss Dixon? Never too much heart. That's right. Happy Wednesday right back at you, Ms. Matt. Yes, indeed. We're going to go on back.
On God, I'm thumbing through blessings. On God, I really be stepping. On God, I'm nice with the dressing.
Right.
On God, my brother's been solid since day one. They ain't got any questions.
I was a few.
You ready to work, don't tell me, tell me. Ain't no dream you can sell me. They tried to
Chris said it came out a few days ago.
I won with the cars.
Okay. That's crazy. Thank you so much, Mr. Jefferson. Good evening, right back at you. Thank you. Love y'all. God bless you. Thank you so much, Mr. Jones. I appreciate you. I put a lot of pressure on you, put you out there, make you put your makeup on and everything. But you always right on point. You get that fro glow on. Great. Thank you.
Good night, J.B.
Good night, right back at you. And when I go to Hollywood, I'm taking you with me. That's right. We going. God bless you. That's right. I'll take you too, Chris. That's right. My desire. On God, the devil be trying. On God, the bishop be lying. On God, I moved out of town on Miami. Too many of my people was dying. On God, I keep that shit on. That's baked for Louis Vuitton. On God, I don't care about none of these. Do all this shit for my mom. I rock that RVL. Popsicles, I prevail. I'm flying right over them hurdles. I keep it real. I've been setting the trend since I was 16. You could ask Virgil. The fashion show be easy. I make it look way too easy. On God, I'm living a legend. On God, I know my directions. On God, I'm really respecting. On God, I'm coming through blessings. On God, I really be stepping. On God, I'm nice with the dressing. On God, my brother's been solid since day one. They ain't got any questions. On God, I came up with shots. On God, I came up with rust. On God, they told me to pop. Stay up, watch out for the cop. Watch out for the cooperators and all the accomplices. Be patient, it's all about time. I need to work through the rhyming. Got talking to me in my comments. Oh, wow. So with that, thank you for telling audio. I'm gonna tell Ryan. Thank you. Thank you. God is good. Love y'all. Take care.